triangle. At random, somebody's going to jump out and say half base times height. Well, here's the actual truth. The area of a right triangle is half base times height. So basically, this formula that we've been walking around with and saying area is equal to half multiplied by base multiplied by height is really the formula for finding the area of this specific triangle. That formula cannot be used to find the area of a scalene. It cannot be used to find the area of an equilateral triangle. And it cannot be used to find the area of, I said, scalene, equilateral, or isosceles. Because it's not all the time you're going to get a triangle that has a base and a height. You may get a triangle that has a base, but you don't know the height. There's a height, but you don't know what it is, and you can't find it. There's not enough information to help you to find it. So what are you going to do then when you're asked to find the area of a triangle that has a base, but it doesn't have a known height? You can't use half base times height. So this is why then it's safe to say that this particular formula that you guys are familiar with is really the area for the, is really the formula for the area of a right triangle. So the next question begs is, sir, is there a scalene formula? Is there a scalene, is there an area for a scalene triangle? Is there a formula for that? Is there a formula for the area of an equilateral triangle? Is there a formula for, are you then saying, sir, that since there are four right angle triangles, since there are four types of triangles, are you then saying that there are four formulas? No, that's not what I'm saying. Here is the actual understanding of the formulas. A triangle doesn't have a formula per se. How we decide which formula we use is dependent upon the information that we know about the triangle. So with this triangle, we know that there is a height and we know that there is a base. So since we know the height and we know the base, then we have to use the formula that contains the base and the height. Watch this now. What if we then end up with a triangle that just looks like this, where I know what this side is, and I also know what this side is, and I also know what this side is. So in this example then, I know what all three sides are. I am given the actual dimension. So I could say that this side is 10 centimeter. This side is 7 centimeter. And this side is 9 centimeter. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, that we know what the sides are. How can we use half base times height? What would you call the base? What would you call the height? Now, bear in mind that height can be vertical, height can be horizontal, and height can be diagonal, depending on the orientation of the shape, meaning the direction where we turn the shape. One thing though is that the height, if the base is horizontal, meaning that the base is like this here, so down here. If we know that the base is horizontal, then the height has to be vertical. That's one thing for sure. So in this example, we do not have a height. We don't have a known height. Then, sir, can't we just use the ruler that is in our geometry set to measure it? No. Most diagrams on an exam paper are not drawn to scale. So there's no ruler measurement that can be applied. So then there must be another formula. Well, there is. And this formula was derived by, I don't know his first name because I've not studied like the history of math, but we know this formula as being the Herons formula. That is H-E-R-R-O-N-S. Herons formula. Now, before you say, sir, boy, too much formula, yeah, man, me can't remember the formula then. Here's good news. The formulas that are being shared with you tonight are formulas that are provided to you by CXE at the front, at the sheet that is in the front of your question booklet. So the good news is, it's good news, but it's bad advice. Good news is that the formulas are given to you. The bad advice is that I'm telling you, you don't have to study it. That's a very bad advice because, we encourage you to study the formulas. But you can save some space in your brain to put other formulas and just focus on what was not given, what is not provided. So like for this, you go to the front, you open your question booklet, you look at the formula sheet at the front, you look at the bottom of the formula sheet, and you'll see area of triangle, Heron's formula, what I'm going to show you now. All right. All right. So what exactly is the Heron's formula then? Heron's formula contains two parts. We're not going to be proving how it was derived. CSET doesn't really ask you to prove stuff. They just say, here's the formula, use it to the answer. So Heron's formula then it has two parts. First, you have to find something known as S. And S means semi-perimeter. Now, the prefix semi means a half. Perimeter. So S means semi-perimeter. And semi means a half, perimeter means distance around. So if I have a shape with all its sides, and let's say that the sides name A, B, and C, then I can safely say then that S is equal to this side A plus this side B plus this side C divided by 2. So the division by 2 is because it's the semi, and the A plus the B plus the C is because it's the perimeter. So the semi-perimeter is the sum of all the sides divided by 2. Now you have to obtain that value first before you can proceed to finding the area of the triangle. So then the A part of this formula then, pardon me guys. So the A part of this formula then is going to be equal to the square root of S bracket S. Let me just get some space here, guys. Hold on. It's going to be a little bit lengthy. Give me a sec. I think I lost my page. Just a second, guys. Okay, I think this is it. Yeah. All right, so that's a little bit lengthy here. So the formula is going to be A is equal to the square root of S bracket S minus A bracket S minus B bracket S minus C. So that is the A part of the formula. So if you notice that in the A part of the formula, there is a value S, not 5, guys. I know my handwriting is a bit atrocious, but that's not 5, that's S. We need the value of S. If you notice that S is repeating itself 4 times. So we have to find S before we find A. So S would be your semi-perimeter. A, B, and C would be the sides that are given. Sides that are given in the diagram. All right. Now there's a third formula, but we don't want to create a clutter. So we need to apply what we're learning. We need to apply what we're learning to an actual question. Okay. So let's jump into it. Oh, before I actually go on, is everybody clear? Everybody is comfortable with the discussion already? Are there any questions?
Sure, is it the S or a
That's a S, Damoy. We just said that. S. Handwriting is bad, but it's an S, not a 5. Any questions from anybody? Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
So far, good. All right, so let's get to a fresh page. So now, I have this diagram drawn on the exam paper. And on the exam paper, we happen to pounce upon this question where this side is 9 centimeter and this side is 4 centimeter. And we don't really know, we don't know what that slant side is, and we don't really care. But the question says, 1, find the area of, and they have a tendency to name the vertices of the triangle. So they like to say that this point is P, this point is Q, this point is R, and then they'll say find the area of P, Q, R. So in other words, you're trying to say find the area of the triangle. Now, we can confirm that this is a right angle triangle because of the box in the corner. And this triangle obviously has a base and it obviously has a height. So then to find the area, we would draw for our formula A equals half base, half times base times height. All right, now A is equal to then half multiplied by the base, which is 9, times the height, which is 4. Now, it's easier to find a half of an even number than it is to find half of an odd number. Not everybody is going to know right off rip that a half of 9 is 4.5, but everybody's going to know what is a half of 4. So as opposed to saying a half of 9 times 4, I can simply say half of 4, which is 2, and 2 times 9 is 18 centimeter squared. And if you can't bother to do it in your head, because you know, math is not enjoyable for everybody, you just simply go on your calculator, you multiply 9 times 4, which is 36, and then find half of 36, which is 18. Now, I like to make math as simple as possible because, as you learned last class, that is not all the time you're going to be asked to find the area. And I find it easier working with whole numbers than working with fractions. I can work with both because obviously I have very good math foundational skills. But for the average person who just wants to keep things simple, right? As opposed to using the formula A equal half base times height, I would implore, I would encourage, I would advise, I would prefer if you say area is equal to base times height divided by 2. Once I have it this way, I don't have to deal with a fraction. And it's just kind of a mental thing, right? For some of you guys, it will not affect you. For others, it may. So I feel like it's easier if you say base times height divided by 2. So I'm just telling the class that this is how, or this is the way I'm going to be using the formula. All right? So I'm going to be using A equal B times H divided by 2. So it's the same formula as half base times height. All right? So just letting you guys know that. All
So
right,
it's
then.
supposed to
So,
be centimeters square.
yes. Wait, hold on. Where did my diagram go? Oh, there it is. Yes. So it's supposed to be centimeters squared. Yes, Jordan. My apologies. And I appreciate my students holding me accountable for any error that I may make. So that's good. All right, Jordan, I'm going to see your focus tonight. All right, then. Good. Now, let's look at the question now where you're not asking you to find the area. All right, so I'm going to give you in a worded form. Okay, I'm not going to write it on screen. I'm going to dictate the information. So take this down for me, guys. triangle ABC, ensure that ABC is all capital letters. Triangle ABC has an area of 110 square centimeters. Has an area of 110 square centimeters. And its base length is 13.2 centimeters. Is 13.2 centimeters. Calculate the height of this triangle. Calculate the height of this triangle. Question: what kind of triangle is this? Is it a scalene triangle? Is it an isosceles triangle? Is it a equilateral triangle? Is it a right triangle? What triangle?
Right.
It's a right triangle?
Yes, sir.
You think so? How do you know?
Base.
Did I say it was? You can't just assume that it is, you know. What information is in this question that allow you to make that mathematical assumption?
The base length.
Very good. It's the fact that I said that it has a base length. And I'm asking you for the height. There's only one triangle that is in our triangle family that contains a base and a height. If I didn't mention anything about a base, if I didn't see the word base or see the word height, and it just says that triangle ABC has lengths, blah, 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 then it would not be a right triangle. But the mere fact that I said its base length is and calculate its height, then you can confirm that it's a right angle triangle. Now, if you want to draw a picture, guys, that's good. Right? I do believe that a picture tells 1,000 words. So when I get worded questions, I try to transfer the words into a picture. So for me, I'm just going to just sketch my triangle. I'm just going to just say that my right angle triangle here looks like this. I'm just going to say that. All right. And then according to the information about the question, it did say that the area is 110. So that means inside here is equal to 110 square centimeters. And also according to the information, it did say that its base length is 13.2 centimeters. So basically we're looking for the height, which we can label h, or we can just say that the height is x. So we're looking for x. All right, which one of my 21 smart students can tell me how I would start this question? What is the rule that I gave you in our last class that will ultimately lead you to the answer without you even trying? Which one of you guys can remember? What is it that I tell you to do every single time to start this question?
Sir, apply the formula first.
Apply the formula. I think I wanted to use a different word.
Write down the formula.
Music to my ears. Write down your formula. So Jordan, we are going to apply the formula. But what you want to do to start the question is always write the formula down. And in this case, since we're talking about area, then we know that we have to say A is equal to, and I'm using the one that I like, guys, base times height divided by 2. Now, we're going to take the information that is given to us about the triangle and insert them in its respective position. So if them give us the area, we're going to replace the letter A with the number that represents the area, which in this case, we're going to have 110 here. Then that's going to be equal then to, continue, B represents base, and in this case, we know that the base is 13.2. So that's equal to 13.2. And then we know that we are multiplying it by h, which we don't know, but in this case, h is represented by x. In fact, here, when I use x, I am going to use h. So 13.2 times h, because the x looks like the multiplication sign. I don't want to confuse you all. And then we divide that by 2. All right? Now, there is nothing that we can really do. There's nothing to do on the left side of the equation. But on the right side, there's only one evident thing that we can do here. And that is to simply divide the 13.2 by 2. So we're going to divide the 13.2 by 2. Can you confirm what's the answer, guys?
6.6.
So 110 is equal to 6.6 times h. We divided the 13.2 by 2, so the 2 disappear. So we get 6.6 times h. And then from here now, we just simply do the opposite of the operation that is on the right. The 6.6 is multiplying the h, and so we know that the opposite of multiplication is to divide. So then our answer is going to be 110 divided by 6.6. And that will produce the result of h, which is the height. How much you got, guys?
16.66.
So 16.66, which you can just say 16.7 or 16.67, or doesn't matter. The question will specify, say, in 1 dp or 2 decimal places or 3 significant figures, whatever. But if you're not told, keep it simple, 16.6 centimeters or 16.7, preferably. Round it off. All right, is it clear, guys? Simple enough, no?
Yes, sir.